He's going to stand. He's going to stand here. Do his stuff. So you go there. He's going to go. Guys, can you just so we can do the 5 minutes? Guys, in front of you, in 5 minutes or so. So you guys go that way. Yeah, he's going
a few words. Come on here. Thank you. You got me here. Yeah. Underneath the spotlight.
Get back on the chair, lady.
She is standing. Off you go.
I'd just like to say thank you so much for supporting us all week during the competition. I don't think that we would have performed so well without all this fantastic support that we've received, and you know I'm great at speeches. So thank you, and thank you again for tonight. It's just absolutely fantastic. The girls really appreciate all the support that you've given us, and we'd like to see you at the game tomorrow. We're kicking off at 10:15 at Valentine's Park on ground 1, and we're going for gold. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we kick off the main event, can I ask everybody have a glass in the hand, or a bottle in the hand, or a stubby, and stand up?
Stand up.
This week's all about being enjoying ourselves.
This week,
Shut the fuck up, mate. Mark
you say I'm a wagger. That's right.
Yeah, like this week's all about being enjoying ourselves, but we have had a fallen soldier in Dad's army in the last couple of years. So this is the one serious time for those of you who ask you to put your glass so you're drinking here. And Rod Davis, obviously one of the Dad's army people, passed away in the last couple of years. So, Rod Davis. Okay, good on you. Okay, tonight, we've been waiting for a few days for this one. Tonight we've heard a lot about him. He's come into Dad's army for the first time in a long time, forever. And he's one of the guys who's certainly been one of the characters. So I'd like to introduce Kevin.
Kevin's the captain of our ship, of our ship. Kevin's the captain of our ship, of our ship. And our ship's a tanker, and Kevin is a wanker. Kevin's the captain of our ship, of our ship.
First of all, what I wanted to say was it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour to be part of this Dad's Army. I mean, there was 15 teams. You don't want to stick my name on the website, but you guys were the first guys to contact us. I know that there's a lot of people here. Steve, Tim, I can't remember the goalkeeper there. There's some boys that have joined. And it's been an absolute honour and pleasure to be with you guys, so I'd like to thank you very much for accepting the sit. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I was actually very lucky to be here, because the night before I had the first game there, I actually got pulled up by the police. And I heard the old dur. So I pulled up the side of the road, you know, because I wanted to have a word with him. He's walked up to the car slowly, you know, because he works for the government. He stuck his head through the window, which I found a tad surprising because I had it up at the time. He said, "Are you the driver of this vehicle?" I said, "It's automatic, but I do have to be here." He said, "Can you identify yourself?" And I looked in the mirror, I said, "Yep, that's definitely me." He said, "You've obviously been drinking." I said, "Well, thank fuck for that, I thought the steering had gone." He said, "I'd like you to blow in the bag." I said, "I didn't even know she was in the car." He said, "You do realise that everything you say will be taken down and used in evidence?" I said, "Okay, would you stop kissing me and get your hand off my bollocks?" He said, you have a previous police record? I said, yes, walking on the moon. And Roxanne, they took me down the station. They said, we brought you down here for drinking. I said, good, I'll have a gin and tonic. And I saw an ad in the local newspaper. It said, if you've got a drinking problem, ring this number. So I rang it. It's a bottle shop in Castle Hill. But I'm also lucky to be here because, you know, the boys that played with me will tell you I'm prone to illness. And I went to see the doctor the other week. He said, Kev, you're not looking that well. He said, I want you to take one of these pills every day for the rest of your life. He gave me 4. I said, I'm having problems with my sex life. He said, well, jogging's the best thing for you. Jog 10 miles every day for the next 2 weeks. So I did that, rang him up. How's your sex life now, Kev? I said, not great, I'm 140 miles from home. I went into the dentist, got the old fella out, put it on the table. He said, excuse me sir, this is a dentist. I said, yes I know, I've got a tooth stuck in it. You meet some strange people around, you know, like here, in the Masters Games, people come from all over the world, and you meet some funny people as you're travelling around the world. Like the French, for instance, they're funny fucking people. I've met a whole stack of people since I've been here, people shake your hands. I got off a cross-channel ferry, a Frenchman came up, he's kissed me on both cheeks. Well, I wouldn't have minded, but I was tying my shoelaces at the time. Wasn't too bad, I blew him my back. The Irish are funny people, aren't they? We went with the Irishman last week, he walked into the bank, he said, this is a fuck-up. I said, don't you mean a hold-up? He said, no, I forgot my gun. About the Americans, they're fuck, they're mad. The Americans are completely mad. I mean, that Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton thing, that should never have happened. What he actually said to me was, sack my cook. And his advisor said to him, Bill, he said, you've got a bit of a problem here. He said, you've got that going on. He said, you've got the Gulf War, you've got this economic crisis. He said, what about the abortion bill? He said, just pay it. They said to O.J. Simpson the other night, they said, are you going to get remarried? He said, I might have another stab at it. He said, actually, that shouldn't have happened. It wasn't me. He said, only popped in for a slash. So they're funny people. What about the Middle East? There's some strange people in the Middle East, aren't there? You know, when you get to the Middle East, if you get caught thieving, they chop your hand off. If you get caught trespassing, they chop your foot off. Funnily enough, you don't see that many flashes over there. You know, because if you get caught, they're going to chop the buttons off your raincoat. I saw a bloke last week in Beirut, he's got all his hands stitched up like this. I said, I've noticed you've won your appeal. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I should do that because I've only just joined the group. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I come from England and I was brought up in a detached house in England. Well, it wasn't actually detached, it was just coming away from the rest of the street. And I used to have to share a bedroom with my 3 brothers, 2 of which were bedwetters.
Where's Jeff?
So obviously I've learnt how to swim at a very early age. In fact, I was the only child in the street that used to wake up with a rainbow in his bedroom every morning. Mum used to say to me, which end would you like? I said, the shallow end. And people say it's a more violent world today than it was when we grew up. And I'm thinking, where did they grow up? The fucking moon or something? My dad was the most violent man I'd ever met. He actually knew the day he was going to die. The judge told him. He used to say things to me like, you know, I'm going to knock you to kingdom come. I'm going to wipe that smile off your face. For the first 10 years of my life, I thought he was a plastic surgeon. And the thing is, you know, you used to walk up to a house, and I walk across these cobbled, you know, the cobbled streets up to your house, where it was dark, and I knew he'd be waiting for me, and I used to take my shoes off, you know, so you didn't make that sort of noise on the cobbles. Then I used to stick my finger in my ear, get some wax on it, you know, so I'd keep nice and quiet, and I keep the door open and keep the door. I thought, shit. Should have waxed the hinges. Couldn't get them in my ear. Don't be standing there. He said, bring me something to hit you with. I bought him a balloon. So they, you know, they think it's a more violent world. I mean, children are different these days. I mean, you know, where's my son over? Mike was here, son, with my son. He came up to me when he was 6 years old. He said, Dad, where do babies come from? I said, stalks. He said, who fucks a stalk? We've only had, Dale and I have only had the 2 children, you know, we were practising safe sex. I used to shut the door and close the windows. And having had the 2 children, we said, no more. We're not having any more. I said, we've got to practice safe sex. So Gail said, well, you go first. So I went down to the chemist. I said to the girl behind the counter, I'll have 99 condoms. She said, fuck me. I said, okay, make it 100. Irish fellow walked in after me and said, I'll have a pack of them things as well, a pack of them condominiums. A pack of them contradictors. He said, that'll be $6.50 plus tax. He said, forget the tax, I'll tie them on. So then Gail said, we'll practice the rhythm method. I said, where are we going to find a jazz band at this time of night? So, now, you know, now I've changed, and I'm in the travel industry now. And well, I've been in the travel industry for basically about 30 years, which is strange because I actually hate flying. I particularly fucking hate flying, actually. If it's the safest form of travel, what's the first thing you see in big letters when you get to the airport? Terminal. You go in there, they say, where would you like to sit? I normally say inside the black box. If they always find the black box, why don't they make the entire plane out of that shit? And you get on board, they say your nearest exits are here, here, here. You ever seen a plane that's come down from 35,000 feet that hasn't smashed into about 3 million bits? And you're going, that fucking exit's round here somewhere. They say, use the whistle to attract attention. If they haven't noticed the plane's crashed, how are they going to find you floating about the Pacific with a fucking whistle? I'm flying down to Melbourne the other day, the girl said, in case of emergency, I'd like you to stick your head between your legs. I said, darling, if I could do that, I'd never get out of bed. So the other thing is, I don't know if you've ever been on a plane. Every time you get on a plane, the plane takes off late. And the captain, as soon as you got up there, the captain says... Ooh, you get up there, the captain says... They all speak like that, don't they? You can't fucking word they say. And he said, we do apologise for taking off half an hour late. But he said, we'll make up the time. I'm thinking, does he know a fucking shortcut or something? So you got some extra gear we don't know about. Because they always make up the fucking time, don't they? The other thing is, I always like big planes, and I flew from a place called Perth. Fucking Perth. It's not a place called, it is Perth. I flew from Perth to a place called Mandurah. And I fucking hate flying, and there's a little small plane, I could have driven, I didn't realise it was that close. And there's a small plane, they said, Mr. Millard, if you'd like to jump on the scales. And I went, what? They said, yeah, we need to weigh you to see how much fuel to put on board. I said, well, you can just fill the fucking thing up. I'm not going to die because somebody's lied about their weight. They say to you when you get on board, the life jacket's situated under the seat. I mean, the thing's supposed to fucking fly, not float. You fly from London to Manchester, you're flying over 2 canals and a lake. You'd have to be fairly unlucky, wouldn't you, really? It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I know that you want to get on and enjoy yourself, so I'm going to probably love you and leave you now. If you're driving home tonight, I want you to drive safely, because I'll be on the road. Thank you very much.